Donald Trump is panicking as Iran is threatening to shut down the Bab al-Mandab Strait in the Red Sea if the Trump regime refuses to agree to the 10-point negotiating framework and continues its blockade of the Persian Gulf. Some of the Iranian social media channels that are very close to MB Ghalibaf, the parliament reader, are posting the following. Starting from noon tomorrow, which is today, the initial steps to block the Bab al-Mandab Strait will be taken. Professor Morandi, who was with the Iranian delegation last week in Islamabad, posted the following as well. One of the commanders of the resistance has spoken of a serious warning issued by, quote, borderless warriors to all vessels in the Bab al-Mandab Strait. He said that starting tomorrow afternoon, which is now today, those intending to cross the Bab al-Mandab must be careful of threats from all sides. And the reference to the borderless warriors refers to the Houthis of Yemen, who a few years back showed that they could shut down commercial and tanker traffic in the Red Sea if they are given the command by Iran. Iran so far has held off on ordering the Houthis to shut down the Red Sea the same way Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz. But after Donald Trump continues to use negotiations as a tool to threaten Iran, and as Donald Trump now continues to escalate with the blockade of the Persian Gulf, despite lots of Iranian tankers being able to get through this blockade, Iran saying enough is enough. We will strike back if you don't back down. Also, Iran is saying publicly that they were very close to reinitiating missile strikes against their Arab nation neighbors if the United States did not get Israel to agree to a ceasefire in Lebanon. There is, I guess, a ceasefire in Lebanon right now, although Israel still is hitting targets that it says is Hezbollah in Lebanon, although it should be noted lots of civilians and lots of innocent people have been killed as well. And that's one of the things that we've been focused on, the utter destruction and war crimes with lots of innocent individuals being killed. And we see Hezbollah still shooting and attacking into Israel. So unclear what this purported ceasefire really is in terms of its import. Iran's parliament leader MB Ghalibaf posted the following yesterday. As I said last night as well, the ceasefire was nothing but a result of Hezbollah's steadfastness and the unity of the axis of resistance. And we will deal with this ceasefire with caution, and we will remain together until the full realization of victory. I thank the mediating efforts of the state of Pakistan and General Asim Munir for endorsing this ceasefire. We are true to our pledge. Now, it should also be noted the following, and this is a statement that Iran has also made. Iran repeatedly came close to resuming confirmation during efforts to secure a Lebanon ceasefire, with missile launch platforms prepared and ready on multiple occasions, a senior Iranian military source told Al Mayadeen. The source said Iran halted launch operations each time in response to diplomatic promises about a Lebanon ceasefire, promises that were subsequently broken by Israel, drop site reports. The enemy, as usual, broke its commitments and continued its aggression against Lebanon, the source said, adding that Iran ultimately issued a decisive final deadline Thursday night. According to the source, it was the enemy's realization of the seriousness and inevitability of Iranian operations, combined with Hezbollah's resistance on the ground, that forced the ceasefire in Lebanon. Donald Trump announced Thursday that a 10-day Lebanon ceasefire would begin at 5 p.m. Eastern, midnight Beirut time. Parliament Speaker Ghalibaf told Lebanese Speaker Nabi Berri in a phone call Thursday that Iran will never forget our Lebanese brothers, as we see them as our own. Additional developments as well. The U.S. is now quietly warning some European allies to expect delays in weapon deliveries because the Iran war has drained U.S. stockpiles. The Pentagon is prioritizing its own needs and ongoing operations. Reuters reports, I previously reported as well, that the USS George H.W. Bush aircraft carrier and aircraft strike group has moved around Africa to the south instead of crossing through the Red Sea out of fear of the Houthis potentially launching attack on the aircraft carrier group, showing the real threat that they see of the Iranian proxy group, the Houthis. And speaking about supplies being drained, it should be noted as well that lots of our soldiers, lots of individuals in the Navy, individuals aboard the USS Tripoli, and others have written home about the very low morale in the United States military right now and how the soldiers are not getting the food that they need to have basic sustenance. They've basically run out of food. U.S. sailors on the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier are reporting poor quality food in small portions during a long deployment near Iran because of extended operations and strained supply lines. Crews are relying on a limited resupply at sea, leading to rationing and lower morale. Our troops don't have the food that they need to eat right now. Families say sailors are often hungry, and now there are mail disruptions, so the families aren't even able to send their loved ones on the ships food from back home in order for them to eat. Donald Trump is running our Navy the way that he has run his bankrupt casinos. He's run them into the ground where there's not even basic food. Look at this slop that people are being served aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. And these are the individuals who are being asked to risk their lives, to put their lives on the line and make the ultimate sacrifice. And this is how they're being treated right here. Here's a meal on board the USS Tripoli amphibious assault ship. A small scoop of shredded meat and a single folded tortilla. Hat tip to USA Today for breaking this story as well, showing these images and telling the stories of families of American soldiers who are trying to get their loved ones food but can't. And also what we should talk about as well is that, when we talk about the WTI crude and the Brent crude prices, we're like $92 per barrel of oil, $95. Remember last week it was $100 per barrel of oil. Those are futures prices. If you look at the price that's actually being sold like right now, you look at Singapore and Sri Lanka, they each paid $210 and $286 per barrel respectively. This is the actual delivered price, not the oft-quoted futures price. And when you look at these prices of $93, $95, it's high. You're paying right now $4 to $6 per gallon of oil, right? Sometimes maybe even a little bit more. And Donald Trump's like, maybe by the summer, it'll go down a little bit, but the gas prices aren't that bad. The reality is that given the oil shock that we've experienced globally, right now, these prices are low compared to what they should be. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're way too high, unaffordable based on Trump's war crimes. But if you really price the market where it should be, we should be paying about $10 to $15 per gallon of oil, and a per barrel of oil basis should be somewhere in the $300 range based on the supply shock if you're really looking at it. But the market's a little bit incongruent. A few other data points I want to point out as well. Although Donald Trump is saying that there are, Iran's ready to make a deal, they're ready to make a deal. Gulf state and European nations are saying at best case scenario, we're looking at 6 months, they say, before an actual deal will be reached between the United States and Iran, because there would be a lot of technical details that need to be worked out regarding Iranian uranium enrichment, and the Gulf states and the European countries see no deal anytime soon on the horizon. So they're trying to figure out, what the hell are you doing, Donald? You can't just keep making up, on Thursday there's going to be a deal. Remember, there was supposed to be a meeting in Pakistan yesterday. That's what they said. Thursday, there was going to be a meeting. Well, that never happened. Now there's no date set for any second round of U.S.-Iran talks, as Pakistan is pushing to keep diplomacy alive. Pakistan confirmed Thursday that Washington and Tehran are discussing a second round of negotiations through Islamabad, but no date has been set. The ceasefire is set to expire April 22nd. That's like when Donald Trump punts the date into the future. Like, if you don't do it 10 days, we're going to obliterate your civilization. There was neither a breakthrough nor a breakdown, the Pakistan Foreign Ministry spokesperson Tahir Andrabi said of the first round, adding that the nuclear issue is among the key subjects under discussion. Yeah, that's the main issue, along with the Strait of Hormuz, along with Iran wanting to keep its ballistic missiles, as well as Iran wanting to charge a fee for $2 million for ships to go through the Strait of Hormuz, as long as permanent security guarantees for itself, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen, and the Iranian Shiite militia groups in Iraq. Iran's been very clear what it wants, and Donald Trump previously said he agreed to that 10-point framework before Donald Trump going to Islamabad, Pakistan, and then saying we don't actually support that. Pakistan's civil and military leadership is conducting a parallel diplomatic blitz. Army Chief Asim Munir arrived in Tehran 2 days ago and then also met with Iranian's Parliament Speaker Ghalibaf on Thursday. And Ghalibaf led Iran's delegation in Islamabad to negotiate. Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan is on a 4-day regional tour in Jeddah, Doha, and Antalya. Turkey is working to establish a separate regional security forum with Gulf and regional states to coordinate long-term stability efforts. Iran's ambassador to Pakistan and Tehran would only negotiate in Islamabad. We will do talks in Pakistan and nowhere else because we trust Pakistan, and who they don't trust is Kushner and Witkoff. It is not working. Diplomats fear Trump's Iran envoys are only making things worse. A Time magazine expose spoke to all of these diplomats from Europe and the Gulf states, and they say Witkoff and Kushner are unable to even grasp the basic concepts of uranium enrichment, yet alone are they able to negotiate and speak in clear words with Iran. Like, Iran has all these PhDs and former diplomats and top people, and Kushner and Witkoff have no clue what the hell they're doing. They just keep threatening Iran in the negotiations, which are making things worse and worse. That's what everybody's saying behind the scenes, and that's what led to what I said at the beginning. Iran saying, okay, we'll shut down the Bab el-Mandab Strait in the Red Sea. And how's that gonna make you feel? So, folks, things are very, very tenuous at the time of this recording. Leaders of Gulf and European countries believe that a peace deal between the U.S. and Iran will take at least 6 months to be reached. They're urging U.S. and Iran to extend their ceasefire. Leaders want the Strait of Hormuz opened immediately and are warning in private that a global food crisis may develop if that doesn't happen by next month. And also, we're seeing that Europe may have a jet fuel, may be completely out of jet fuel in the next few weeks if something significant doesn't change. I just note as well, when Donald Trump announced there was a ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel yesterday morning, Israel's Security Council and their security cabinet didn't even have a vote on the ceasefire. Like, they were unaware that this was even happening at the time. And then, you had the situation I was talking about where you had the Lebanon president not wanting to speak to Netanyahu at all. But then Donald Trump just announced that Hezbollah has not agreed to the ceasefire. And Donald Trump just posts, Hezbollah, please be nice, Hezbollah. Please be nice, Hezbollah. I mean, you just got, just ridiculous statements like that. And then Donald Trump just cavalierly says yesterday, if there's no deal, the fighting resumes. Here, play this clip.
If there's no deal, would you be willing to extend the ceasefire, or will the fighting resume, Mr. President?
I would say the fighting, if there's no deal, fighting resume.
Okay.
And he says, the war is going swimmingly well. Everything's going swimmingly well. Let's play this clip.
Very well. And I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want. And it should be ending pretty soon. It was perfect. I mean, it's perfect. It was the power we have, our military. We have the most powerful military anywhere in the world. I built it 4 years, my first 4 years. And we're still building it.
And then he talks about how when he was thinking about destroying, he wasn't sure why we destroyed the Iranian ships and killed all the Iranian Navy, because why didn't we just save their ships and we could have sold it and made a lot of money or something like that. Play this clip.
150. I got angry. I said, why didn't you save them? We could have used them, They would rather shoot them than save them. I said, what the hell? It's only money. But some of them were good. They had one named the Soleimani. You know what the Soleimani? We took him out.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. And did you notice, though, there lots of, you have the Gulf states, Europe, talking about coming up with their own structures to build regional security, as it's clear the U.S. is just weak and pathetic. Like, it's obvious, right, that Donald Trump's plan is what he said it was. He's just going to basically do nothing, try to run out the clock, and then hope other countries kind of bail him out the way Daddy bailed out his casinos. What a pathetic person he is. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.